It might not be radioactive, but it will get you to the crime scene quickly. Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a Johnny LIghtning Playing Mantis. It's a top-fuel dragster. First one of these to come across my hobby desk, and it's only the second Johnny LIghtning that I've ever worked on. I recently completed a custom Mako shark. I got this in a mail call from friend of the channel, Joe M. Thanks again, Joe. As soon as I saw it, I knew what I wanted to do with it. I'm going to give this one a unique livery and a brand new set of dragster tires. Should be lots of fun, so don't go away. There's a metal base on this one, but it's so thin and elongated there's barely enough width for the retaining screws. But out they come, and off goes the chassis that looks like that. The cockpit and drag chute fell away when the base was removed. I have to pop out the plastic cast engine from underneath. I'll clean that up. The wheels came off. And as always, everything goes into a bin for safekeeping. There was no glass windshield on this one, so the one-piece body goes right to the paint stripper. Coming up in the next few weeks on Maple Leaf Customs, you're going to see my 4 Horsemen World Service Day entry, which is a Hot Wheels Ford Ranger Raptor. The Diecast International Builders are hosting the annual OPA tribute build. I've got a C7 Corvette coming up and my annual Canada Day Invitational, whichever one is invited to participate in. I've chosen a Rio Bugatti T50 from the 1930s. If you enjoy this kind of video, I'd sure appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It's totally free, and that helps me out greatly. Thank you. I did go over the whole casting with an abrasive wheel, so it's ready for degreaser and primer, the regular steps that I take on every build. This is going to be a special Spiderman edition, and that's the challenge for me today, which I'm up for. I'm going to start by doing a wrap on the whole dragster with this Spiderman costume texture that I found on Google Images, but because of the shape and all of the detail and side pipes and railings, contours and crevices, I have to apply it in several steps. I began about halfway back, and it took 4 or 5 pieces to complete the whole cockpit surround that you see here. I did my best to line up the print, kind of like hanging wallpaper. And this is the very satisfying frame of applying the same texture over the front half of the dragster. It laid down so nicely. I go over it with a wet brush and then the Q-tip to squeeze out any moisture under the decals, and a pretty good coating of microsol was required, again because of all of the details and the railings that I'm not going to accentuate in silver or gunmetal. They're going to be under the wrap, but this way they show through. That took a while, and there were a couple of repeat patches I had to do over, but I'm pleased with the results so far. Today's community shoutout goes to the YouTube channel Dodger Diecast, which is owned and operated by Matt, who's a 17-year-old hobby enthusiast. Please swing by and introduce yourself and help another member of the community grow their channel. The second stage of decal application on the Spiderman dragster is the web in ghost white, and normally those go on first with color on top, but in this case you can see the white web print needs to show on top of the texture, which serves as the underlying base. More wet brushing just to help it cling, and a little bit of adjustment. Nice effect, isn't it? Once again, several pieces are required to go around the cockpit, and now I have to be very careful to line up the webs. This step was tremendously satisfying. I think it looks cool. There are a couple of superheroes keeping a close eye on this project, but here's the main man, overseeing production on his new set of wheels. There's no doubt who gets the keys for this one. I've resprayed the engine, and when that's dried up, I do a little bit of black wash just to highlight the details. Including some burnt ends on the exhaust tips. Looking good. I vacillated back and forth between black and white for the cockpit highlight and ended up going white to match the web print that's prominent on the rest of the car. That choice guarantees that the drag chute will stand out the best when it's done in bright red. Top Fuel is a type of drag racing featuring the quickest accelerating racing cars in the world. It's the fastest sanctioned category of drag racing, with the top competitors reaching speeds of 338 miles an hour and finishing the 1,000-foot runs in 3.62 seconds. A Top Fuel dragster accelerates from a standstill to 100 miles an hour in as little as 0.8 seconds, less than a third the time required by a production Porsche 911 Turbo to reach 60 miles per hour. The incredible speeds on the short drag strips subject the drivers to an average acceleration of about 4 g-force over the duration of the race, with a peak of over 5.6 g-force. Measuring the power output of a Top Fuel engine directly is not always feasible. The main limitation is that a Top Fuel engine cannot be run at its maximum power output for more than 10 seconds without overheating or possibly even destroying itself explosively. The calculated power output of these engines is most likely somewhere between 8,500 and 11,000 horsepower, which is twice as powerful as the engines installed on some modern diesel locomotives. As part of its extensive inventory, Sanctioned Wheels has a couple of options when it comes to dragster tires. I've put mine on using some dollar store beads as spacers, which was necessary. I cut the straight pins that I use for axles to the proper length and crimped the ends for a secure fit front and back. Please visit www.sanctionedwheels.com to choose the tires you're going to use for your next custom project. I'm no longer right up to date on who's who in Top Fuel drag racing, but the big names I do remember include Dawn Big Daddy Garlitz, Dawn the Snake Prudhomme, and Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney, who was the first woman to receive a license from the NHRA to drive a Top Fuel dragster, winning championships in 1977, 1980, and 1982. Good memories of Saturday morning ABC Wide World of Sports. I'm securing everything from the bottom with some super glue, which also helps hold fast the cockpit and the engine. Let's have a closer look. I'm very happy with the way this intricate decal scheme worked out. That was the biggest challenge for me on this project. Don't ask me why I chose Spiderman to go on a dragster. It just struck me as something that might be interesting, and it turned out as I hoped it would. It glides on those new wheels. I'd really never seen this casting before, but I'm no expert on Johnny LIghtnings. But I did have this vision in mind, and I'm happy to say I got it to where I wanted it to be. I might do a couple more superhero-themed builds in the future. I did do an Iron Man Aston Martin a little while ago. Maybe there will be a Hulk or a Captain America ride in the future. Let me know in the comments if you've got an idea for something like that. Thanks for visiting my channel again today. I hope you'll come back soon and often. It's coffee time.